California legislature, under pressure from teachers' unions, recently killed a bill mandating the teaching of phonics. Despite strong support from the PTA and NAACP, research since the 50s support phonics as the best method for teaching children how to read. Instead, California schools have adopted pseudoscientific theories about early literacy, leaving millions of children struggling to read. California imposes expensive top-down mandates in other areas, such as a 746-page sex education framework and a mandated ethnic studies curriculum rooted in 1960s activism. These curriculums aim to liberate students from oppressive forces like capitalism and patriarchy. Again, folks, this is a Wall Street Journal story. The state's new mathematics framework initially included topics like whiteness and social justice, and now promotes discovery learning in an effective teaching method. The attacks, and anyways, I can go on and on. Tom, your reaction to the story here?
Well, I know a little bit about this, and this is really infuriating. We saw this coming literally 20 years ago. The BizDoc Babe is a teacher. She started out at LA Unified. She was a fifth grade teacher there, fully credentialed. She was actually a campus representative. And so she would go downtown to LAUSD and the teachers union meetings, and keep them moving, PBD, was the theme. Keep them moving. It's like, wait a minute, we want to make sure that they're progressing and they're being taught. No, keep them moving. Keep them moving. Don't hold them back. Just keep them moving grade to grade. And there was a focus where teachers would push back at this and say, hey, look, phonics and other tools are critical to help kids, especially kids that don't have enrichment at home or maybe coming from a lower academic home. They need this stuff to get the core. Because if you get teaching and basic math, second, third grade, you are putting them on a path where they can actually be on the learning trajectory that's correct. However, if you drop that down and they're below grade level, like at third or fourth, you're putting a permanent cap on their economic achievement. This is Marxist, of keep us all in a mob in the middle. And by the way, the state PTA, which is Parent Teacher Association, and the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, they're against this, fighting it. So the national organization that's been representing a lot of things, the needs and themes that are to help advance, African Americans.
Tom, can I ask you a question?
They're against it.
I want you to give a devil's advocate argument. Okay, in our house, I play a game with the kids. It's a debate game. Vinny, maybe you've seen it.
I love it. Yeah, we stayed at the hotel.
Yeah, so I'll pick a topic to debate. Is it better in life to be married and have families, or is it better in life as a man to be a playboy? And then they pick one of the hands. Whoever gets what's in my hand gets to choose which position they want to debate, okay? In this situation, Tom, what is the benefit of, sell me on the idea of a 746-page sex education framework? Sell it to me the way they would sell it. How do you sell that to kids about 746-page sex education? And then in math, using topics like whiteness and social justice to promote discovery. What is their pitch?
Well, I'll break it down for you. I can't even defend the phonics thing, because what they're basically saying is let kids learn naturally, let them learn, through observational things, which is proven is the wrong way to teach reading. So let's set that aside. Let's just go to the 746-page sex manual, and I'll try to sell it to you. Patrick, we live in a diverse world, and this diverse world has a lot of different people in it. And this manual ensures that if your kid is straight, your kid is bi, your kid is gay, that we are giving them what we believe to be a correct and healthy and ratifying framework that validates their sense of self and how they express that safely. We don't want them to get venereal disease. We don't want them to get sick. We want them to have safe sex. And so they're going to do it anyway, Pat. They're going to do it anyway. This manual ensures that every child, regardless of what path they choose, and by the way, parents can oppress. So you need to understand, we see them more during the day than you do. And so the 8 hours a day, we see it. You see them 3-4 hours a day and you're distracted. We need to this there so that every child, no child is left behind, and all of their the sex education, regardless of who they are, is present in the curriculum. That's how they're selling it.
Well, I'm not buying it, Tom. Just want to let you know, you cannot sell it to me.
The state PTA and the NAACP
I'm not
ain't
open
buying
to
it either.
I'm not open to it. Adam, thoughts?
Well, I feel like it's just like Groundhog Day. Every time that we talk about California, just something more ridiculous and ridiculous. And I think they get a lot of the headlines because they're the biggest state and they have the largest GDP and the largest population, from what I understand. But they're not the only state that is actually this progressive and liberal. Do you know what the most liberal state in the union is? What do you guys think it is?
The most liberal state in the union?
Yes.
Oregon? I don't know. Which one is it?
What's your guess?
Because you're asking it that way, I would probably go like Massachusetts, Vermont.
You're right. Massachusetts is number 1, Hawaii number 2, Rhode Island, ironically, number 3. This is according to Pew and World Data.
Wow.
And then California, number 4, and New York, number 5. So, if you find that one right there. But of the top 10 cities, 3 are in California. No other state has more than a city or 2. So when you're talking about California, because you guys are from California, it's important to point out that they're sort of in specific areas, not the whole state as a whole. So obviously San Francisco is the most liberal city in the country. And then you have Oakland, which is right across the bay there, and then obviously LA. But it's pervasive across the country. And I was talking on Connect to a guy, Jamal, who's a teacher in Massachusetts. And he's like, look, I'm not exactly a conservative. I'm a black guy, but I'm not necessarily a liberal. I stand up for what's right. He's kind of going through it. Shout out to this guy. But he's a history teacher. And he's basically saying, listen, my job's not easy in Massachusetts, being a black, moderate conservative type guy. But this is coming across the country, and there's a difference between being liberal and progressive. I think a classic liberal is sort of in no man's land at this point, and this progressive left, wokeism, AOC, Bernie Sanders left, Maxine Waters is overtaking the Democratic Party, and we'll see if Joe Biden, if he can actually pull back from that, or if he's just going to succumb to their ideology.
Humberto texted me right now. He's going crazy in the back. He said, this is textbook Marxism created by a Brazilian communist degenerate called Paulo Freire. And he said, in Pedagogy of the Oppressed, he expresses the maturing Marxist influence analyst of the political nature of education that clearly places literacy and critical education within the context of the struggle of the oppressed to go beyond capitalist modernization and toward a revolutionary disinformation. It's making its way into American educational system. Teaching kids how to read or do math is the last priority. And he said, this is from this guy, he said, his traditional pedagogy, the banking model of education, because it treats the student as an empty vessel to be filled with knowledge like a piggy bank. And he argues that pedagogy should be instead treat the learner as a co-creator of knowledge. It's Marxism, what they're doing. How are you going to teach them about sex and all that stuff and not about reading? This is just California's just killing it.
The purpose of the sex manual is to on the Marxist side is to undermine the family. So the family is undermined, because what happens if you have strong families with people that are educated and good in math? Self-sufficiency, think for themselves, challenge the ideas of the government. All of those, the Marxist theories and the Marxist structure wants to undermine. Every one of them.
Anyways, gang, this is why I love America. I'm America first. My team, my jersey is America. That's what I wear. Yesterday when I went to the game, Florida Panthers against the Edmonton Oilers, you know what hat I was wearing? I was wearing a Valuetainment hat. You know how many Valuetamers I saw yesterday? I couldn't even tell you. Left and right, we were having conversations with everybody because I'm convinced future looks bright. And 4th of July is around the corner. We told you guys we had a complete new merch drop, but I'm going to show, if you're looking at the, Rob, can you actually go to the store so I can tell them what's sold out and what's few items are still left or not? If you just go to vtmerch.com and go to the 4th of July right there if you can click on that. Okay, so let's go through it. The USA hat is officially sold out. There's no more. That went in no time. The one to the left of Valuetainment, there's 37 of those to the left of that right there. There's 14 of the trucker one, whatever you want to call that, right there. There's a few shirts left. There's a few sweaters left as well. And then if you go onto homepage, there's a blowout sale of 50% that we're running for 4th of July. But here's what you got to keep in mind. If you stay at the top, Rob, the slides will switch. Here's what we're doing. This blowout sale of 50%, it's get it now before things are going to be fully sold out on 4th of July because it's still there. So my suggestion, go to vtmerch.com. Place your order, have the gear ready for 4th of July, then tag us, hashtag VTMerch. I want to start showing our folks around the world, valuetainers, wearing VT gear with VT hats. Future looks bright, and I want everybody to start finding each other. This contest we ran with the Manek people that were in town Friday, and we had dinner at Casa D'Angelo, and then we had cigars till midnight. It was so awesome talking to other valuetainers who also love America. So, blowout sale, VT merch. Here's the QR code. Go to it. 50% off. This is a 4th of July sale. Again, all this stuff is going to sell out one by one by one. I'm just telling you in advance because you're going to see this on 4th of July. That's the QR code. Or go to vtmerch.com. Get the gear. Sport the gear. Celebrate 4th of July. Celebrate the greatest country in the world. And have the pride when you go around to other people because that's what valuetainers do. We're going to put the link below as well. But there's also the QR code.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.